Well, the reason I'm making this video, there are more than a few, there are many reasons. First of all, I'm used to be monologuing for lack of audience, lack of permanent, valuable audience. So this reduced the quality of my work, is reduced. I'd say about 95% of my quality doesn't reach much. Also because my monologues are pretty short-sighted. What do I mean? Why a monologue replaced a dialogue, wherein the society that I was uh, expecting anyway, there was audience for uh, quality values, quality art. I'm an artist, and I was haunted by jealousy and competition uh, since since I gathered some strength. Before I gathered that strength, people will just step over me. Uh, but when I started to gather strength, this happened to me in a weird way. Anyway, I'm not going to go into this now. But eventually, the audience, the audience that I meet, and I thought, I mean, they don't reach the basic of a quality audience. You know, musicians, they can, play in a concert or play in a bar, and they will have the appreciation that they need to make a new song, and grow some sense of self-value in their virtue. Well, for me, and that's why the monologue started, is that I was making painting. Sometimes I would make a lot of work, and I would not get to where I am. My work is reflected in other minds, through other eyes, through other imaginations, through other people. So the natural phenomena that is an artist get what he deserves, at least in a sense of appreciation. That because I was making so much work and I was not showing it, so I have like what 2,000 works stored here in different places, uh, because I don't stop producing. Just this phenomena of finding new things and evolving further and further. It is based on a monologue, not on a dialogue, right? The dialogue was supposed to do with in the right society with a proper level of commenting and relating to my work. It doesn't exist on a monologue. Uh, Developed to where I can speak to myself in the camera, not expecting anybody to watch me. Uh, and the monologue developed a great bit. I think my monologue about art developed uh, so much further that the gap between, I mean, if I had to explain myself in the beginning of my career as a painter, it would be hard for me to explain. Um, but now the explanation, the way I explain, became very prolific in itself because I was practicing monologues all the time. Now, one of my monologues, it referred to healing in many senses because I was practicing healing in variety of ways. Uh, and I believe that the most effective way to heal is by interacting with a person, with a soul, with a, if it's physically, with a appropriate physical partner, or with an intellectual complementary. I mean, it is perhaps the fastest, the best way to develop it through interaction, through relationships that are positive. If they're negative, you also practice development, but that's a bit more complex. Then you'll have to shift your position towards the obstacle so that the obstacle will lift you rather than put you down. And that's possible to do. So part of my monologue and dialogue with my partner is about around surrounding this issue of how to develop and to advance in everything basically without having an audience. We're just playing with impressions back and forth like in a mirror, and expressing something, putting it in front of you, and then wait for something in the world to respond to it. And this can happen after a long time. This can happen a short time, but if you look for a long time, some of my processes in my work, they take tens of years to come to any maturity. So to be able to paint properly, I will need hundreds of years to complete or to advance to where I would like to advance, and not be pressured into time and not be pressured by limited audience. So I believe in long life. I always believed that I could recover my elderly, and I could go. I could recover it to where I'll be living indefinitely, and that occurred to me somewhere between when I was 27 to 40 years old. I've discovered the the necessary basis, the initiating point uh, to reach to come upon this kind of life. Uh, and I'm not going into that now. I'm only wanting to go about one obstacle that is perhaps common for other. For me, wasn't com, 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 familiar. This an issue of mating, of finding a mate, finding a woman, finding a stable relationship or love relationship. And I was never interested in that. In fact, I was never interested in that in my life.